Tim, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure having you on the show. And just to get started, if you wouldn't mind giving a very brief introduction of who you are and what you've been up to, that'd be great.
Hey, no problem. Well, it's an honor, first of all, being here. Appreciate it. Love anytime I can reach out, help some people, get out there in front of them, and give them anything that can help get better. It's always my goal. I'm the president of the Kintz Group. We're a training and consulting company, mainly for the automotive industry, but managing, leading people, negotiating, whatever. It's all the same. Words may be different. Most of the techniques are all the same. So it's great being here, man. Let's have some fun.
And let's see, you have two books. Let's start with which one do you want to pick?
We go Fearless, most recent one. I got to get a little tap in on it. But yeah, Fearless, leading and managing unbreakable teams. That just came out in March and did hit Amazon #1 bestseller. So excited about that one for sure.
Why did you decide to write this book?
So Fearless was the second book I wrote. Frictionless was #1 a year prior. And I put Frictionless out initially because, come on, everybody loves closing and negotiating, and that's what Frictionless is all about. Fearless was one of those books that I always knew I needed to write because managers need as much help as possible. I mean, face it, so often managers in companies are the least trained people. We got minimal training when we were selling, and then we get promoted to management because it's like Survivor, right? Outwit, outlast, outplay, don't get voted off, and you become a manager. And then we're just thrown out there to say, all right, make it happen, make me proud. We got to sell a lot, we got to make a lot of money. And I wanted to have a real world tactical guide that people could use in their everyday walk of management, everyday walk of leadership. And that's, I think there's a lot of great books out there, but I think a lot of them are theory, ideas, characteristics. Well, that's all fine, and those are great books. But how do I apply these in real life? When I have one salesperson can't make it to work because their daughter's sick, another one comes in hungover, another one's just MIA, hadn't even communicated. I'm working 2 deals. I got heat case customers in front of me, and I got my boss yelling down my throat, telling me I got to get some results. How do I apply all those theories in the real world? And that's what Fearless is all about. How do you make it happen every day so you can make your people better?
Okay, so let's make it tactical. How do you make it happen?
I always like to say leadership is overrated. And I don't really mean leadership's overrated. That's usually kind of just, it's more shock value. People are like, what the hell are you talking about? Leadership's overrated. No, it's not. It's not overrated, but the word is overused. I mean, there's leadership this, leadership that. People throw it around like it's no big deal. Man, what really goes into leadership? And in all my years of being managers, leaders, trainer, consultants, I realized that it really comes down to 4 areas. Leadership is all about how effectively you lead, you manage, you train, and you coach. It's really those 4 areas: lead, manage, train, coach. You lead people, you manage things, you train to transfer knowledge, you coach to develop skills. And those are 4 key skill sets that we have to have in today's world to be an effective manager and get the most out of our people.
What do you call it, fearless leadership? What's the meaning of fearless there?
Because I think a lot of us, we do what's comfortable to us, and we're not willing to take risks. Well, I'm not comfortable getting up in front of all my salespeople and training them. Well, get over the fear. You got to be fearless. Get up and do it. Well, I don't really know what to talk about when I sit down to do one-on-ones or coaching sessions with my people. Well, best way to learn how to do it is just do it. It's ready, fire, aim. Well, I was never really taught about how to have good vision, how to set clear goals. It's all right. This book will walk you through that. We can't allow fear to paralyze us. Fear paralyzes a lot of people. If we haven't done it before and we're not comfortable doing it, that holds us back way too often from progress. You probably have heard people say, well, I'm gonna start training next month. or I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to start working out next month. No, you won't. You'll be fat in 2 years still. You have to just pull the trigger. You have to do it. Action breeds motivation. You're never motivated to do any of these things as a manager because you have so many things going on throughout the course of a day that often our people aren't the priority. All the things around our people become the priority. And that's really what we have to do. We have to learn to make our people the priority.
Am I right in saying to become a fearless leader, you have to lead, manage, train, coach? Are these the 4 things?
You have to continue to work. Look, there's some people that are naturally, they're good at leading. People want to follow them, right? If nobody wants to follow you, you're not a leader. There's other people that are really good at managing, right? The detail, they're organized. They understand statistics, probabilities, and tendencies, and they get all that. There's other people that are good in front of people that love doing training. There's other people that are good rolling the sleeves up and coaching. You may not be strong in all 4 areas, but all 4 of those areas are what we have to continue to improve on. Because everybody has strengths, everybody has weaknesses. How can we maximize our strengths and start getting better in our weaknesses? Because look, our people depend on it, man. We need to be the manager and leaders that our people need and deserve. And a lot of us are managers because that's what our title says. Leadership is what you earn. And it's not easy, because if it's easy, everybody would be doing it. But the other alternative is you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
So when you pick up the book, what do you learn? Is it you learn tips how to improve in these areas? Is it assessment? Is it a framework?
All the above. Really, I mean, it's pretty tactical. We break down, we talk about leading. Okay, what goes into leading? You know, the best leaders have great vision. They know where they want to be in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. And then they know how to create vision for their people, right? So often our people, they need that leader. They need somebody to help them to develop a purpose, right? What is your people's purpose every day when they come through the door? Do they know where they want to be in 3 months, 1 year, 5 years? Or are they just a rudderless ship that goes wherever the wind pushes them and the tide pushes them? And it's helping them have a purpose. Rick Warren talked about purpose-driven life. Well, purpose-driven career, right? That's what great leaders are able to do, is to give their people purpose. And then they tie that purpose into the company's purpose, and now we're all working together towards one common goal. It's not always just making more money. There's a lot of other things that make people tick. And that's what we have to learn how to do. Then break it down to manageable goals, and then be able to develop a plan so they can execute it and know what they need to do every single day to achieve their vision. But without that, then our people are just kind of drifting along, and they're as good as they're going to get on their own. But I'm also breaking down what it takes to manage your day, right? You either manage your day, or your day will manage you. I mean, it's that simple. Some people get a day's worth of use out of a week. Other people get a week's worth of use out of a day. And there's that lie of time management. There is no time management. You can't manage time. I can't manage time, but there is activity management. And are we organized, or are we disorganized as managers? Right? Are you organized, but maybe it's in a disorganized manner? You've got your legal pad, you got your sticky notes, you got your day timer, you've got your phone, and you got stuff spread out all over the place, and you think you're organized, but it's very disorganized. So it's about how do we get organized, but then also talking about how do I use trends and statistics and probabilities to help my people get better, right? If I don't know the numbers, then I'm just winging it. I'm managing by feelings instead of facts. Right? Sales is a numbers game. If you know the numbers, you control the game. If you don't know the numbers, the game controls you. But once I know those numbers and I know how to read them and I know how to understand them, now I'm able to train my people based on what they really need, not what I feel like they need. And then I can start coaching them for individual and personal improvements, because everybody in sales is not created equal. So therefore, I need to be able to help each person and and know their strengths, know their weaknesses. How do I challenge each person to want to get better, right? How do I get competition and competitive nature within that person? So it's not just a bunch of platitudes and cute headings. There's some real world stuff that really helps them. You know, my vision for this book is that it's tattered up like an old Southern Baptist preacher's Bible. Man, I want it to be dog-eared and highlighted, because that means you're using it and you're challenging yourself to get better. And our people need it, man.
Can you give me an example of something very tangible, something somebody can listen to and say, yes, now I know how to do this. I go from here to here.
Well, I think one of the biggest is the vision and the goal setting, right? That's for big picture, because it's very clear. Unfortunately, most of us are never taught how to set goals or how to create a vision. It's just something some of the top people actually, they do, whether it's it's instinct for them or somebody taught them. I mean, we break that down. But, you know, I'm working on a booklet for this book that is the 7 steps to having an effective one-on-one. Because, you know, having a one-on-one is, man, that's the best way to let your people know you care about them, right? That's the coaching side of it. Where John Maxwell says, how do kids spell love? T-I-M-E, right? How do your people know you care about them? T-I-M-E. What do we not do enough of? Spend T-I-M-E with our people. So it really is making sure that you follow the steps I talk about, whether it's a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 101. It's a step-by-step process that if you follow it, your people will be better. You know, I always have people ask me, how do I know if I'm having a good one-on-one? It's easy. At the end of the one-on-one, your people are better than they were at the beginning of the one-on-one. It's that simple. If they're not better than they were at the end of the beginning of the one-on-one, then you just wasted 20 minutes of your life and their life, right? That's what it all comes down to. Zig Ziglar said that you can get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want out of life.
Just your take on this. So if many managers, they say, I'm having this learning moment with the person working for me, and they try to teach them. And they have these one-on-ones where it's more, not preaching, but it's more, I'm teaching you something. There's a big gap between what somebody understands and what the other person wants to communicate. So do you have any advice on how to bridge that gap and how to change your mindset to make it a successful meeting?
I think when you're sitting down coaching, doing one-on-one, spending time with your people, it's thinking of your people as customers. It's, you know, I always talk about the buyer's quadrant in Frictionless, but it's like in a dealership, customer will walk on the lot and they're guarded. Okay. If I can lower the guard, then they become open-minded and they'll at least listen to what I have to say. Then once they're open-minded, then they become confident in me as long as I made my presentation about them. And then when we sit down to negotiate, now they'll trust me, right? And really trust is the ultimate goal of a salesperson or manager. But is trust given or is it earned? Right? Isn't it earned? So how do I earn it? Well, number one, I got to lower your guard to get you to be open-minded. When I sit down and do my one-on-ones, when I'm meeting with my people, I have to lower their guard. A lot of them, especially when you first start doing this, they have no clue what you're getting ready to do. It's like, all right, here we go. They think it's going to be a one-on-one beating instead of a one-on-one meeting. And that's not what it is. It's all about being positive. It's having some chit-chat. How do I lower the guard, getting them to open up? Then I start digging into looking at what their goals are. What is their purpose? What's their vision? So I can use that to tie it into specific areas that they need to work on. So now I'm looking at their stats, at their probabilities, at what they're forecasted to do. Right? A forecast is just a future. It's a future. It's just a series of numbers. If I keep doing what I'm doing, this is what's going to happen. Right? And it's an estimate of future possibilities based on a current trend. So when I sit down with them, now they're open-minded. Then when I show them that they get better and they see improvements, now they trust that I actually do care about them. Right? And my goal as a manager, as a leader, is to get my people to believe that I care more about them getting better than they care about them getting better. Because that needs to be your mindset. That it's complete sacrifice to help them get better. Because when they get better, your job gets easier. I mean, it's really that simple.
I also like how in the book you have pages where you have quotes coming out. And one of them was survival is instinct, success is a choice. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Didn't we just get out of survival, right? With the pandemic? Everybody was in survival mode. Hell, nobody knew what was going on. And I think everybody handled it a little different. You might have handled it different than I did. I wrote a book and created 2 new programs because I finally, for the first time in 10 years, had some downtime that I could do some of that stuff. Other people turtled and did nothing and pretty much watched all of Netflix, all of Amazon Prime, and became a master of Call of Duty and Fortnite, which is great. I do some of that with my son and we hang out, but are you surviving or thriving, right? It's when we wake up in the morning, human instinct is not to kick ass and take names. Human instinct is not to dominate. Human instinct is to survive. We wake up, our instinct, get something to eat, something to drink, go to the bathroom, and that's human. That's just how we are. Success is a choice, and we have to make those choices and ask ourselves every morning, what am I going to do today to be better than I was yesterday? It's not something that just happens automatically. And then at the end of every day, we need to ask ourselves, based on what I did today, am I better than I was yesterday? Right? And sometimes you're going to go to bed and say, no, I did nothing to get better. It's all right. We're all going to have those. But I don't want to piss away too many of those days because they start running out over time. So it really is about being in thrive mode versus survive mode, right? Look at most sales floors. I don't care what the industry is. Most of the time, are salespeople doing something productive? Are they doing something to generate a sale now or down the road? Or are they waiting around for something to happen? And quite frankly, I'm in the car business, and there's a whole lot of standing around doing nothing and surviving, and not enough succeeding and kicking ass out there. So just always know, man, human instinct, when you wake up in the morning, it's not to dominate. You have to make that conscious decision.
Very cool. And let's go to the quickfire questions. Second favorite book? Assuming yours are the first. What's another book that you like?
Yeah. Fearless and Frictionless, 1A, 1B. I love Psychology of Winning by Dennis Waitley. That was one that early books I read that just stuck with me. Just the whole idea of winning and losing and visualizing. Dennis Waitley, he's got great stuff.
And what do you wish you knew when you were 20?
I'm going to write a book about that. A letter to me 30 years ago. Absolutely. It's, I think the biggest thing is never stop learning. Right? Always challenge yourself to get better. It's really easy to get in a comfort zone. I don't care what your industry is. We're in a culture of complacency unlike I've ever seen. So it's what are you going to do? I think right now, if you want to succeed, if you want to dominate, if you want to be ultra successful, however you define success, I think now is the best time in, I'll say 30 years, because I think there's less and less people that want to be successful because they're complacent. And if you really want to make something happen, the opportunity's there. Now you just got to make it happen. I always joke around, but there's 3 types of people. People that make it happen, people that watch it happen, and people say, what the hell just happened? And I definitely don't want to be the last one.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing. It was great having you.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Anytime.